We really are here to grow our potential clients, are we not?
So we're just up here to keep teaching you what works. Fall in love with sales. Fall in love with your potential clients. Fall in love with developing relationships with the people who need the support that you have to offer. All right, who knows what G stands for? And who knows what R stands for? And O. And a W. That's right. We have some incredible women who have been practicing what they are here to learn. And Women Rocking Business is using the GROW model, right? So many of you are here because you talked to someone who held the space for you to feel into your visions and your dreams, right? To talk about what you're struggling with. What did you need? And they laid out a little map for you. This is what it's going to look like. And then they helped you find your way to get the support that you need. We are here to just help you get that in your bones a little more this morning.
I want to remind you that people will pay you when they believe you can solve a problem for them. You can solve a what, please? Business is about solving problems for people. And that is why one of my favorite ways to open up a sales conversation or an enrollment conversation is to actually ask point blank. So we have about 30 minutes together, right? Hold the container. Let's dive in. If there was one challenge you were up against in your business that I could solve for you today, what would it be? Right? My favorite way to open up these conversations. Let people know right off the bat that you're in a container, that you're a professional, that you don't have all day long to chat about all the things, that you're here to help them solve a problem or address a challenge. Is this helpful? Open up your conversations like you mean business, like you rock business, like you what, please?
Rock business.
And then you are going to consider that if you're here to solve problems, that starting out in the R, it might create a more assertive and proactive container than starting out in the G. Are you picking up what I'm laying down? And then you're going to loop back around to the G.
When we're talking about the G, we're talking about goals, but we're also talking about their dreams and their vision, right? So you're going to be asking them questions. What do you want? What's your dream? Why do you want it? Right? That's really important. Their indulgent why is really essential. Don't bypass getting to the why, because it's like vision comes from our head, but when you get to the why, our whys live in our hearts, right? When you heard your sisters sharing their whys, could you feel their hearts, right? Show me your hands, pop a yes in the chat. If you could feel their hearts, we've got to have that heart connection to their goals, their visions, their dreams, because when we are on a GROW conversation, the intent is to help them say yes to themselves to get to the support that they need. And inevitably, we get scared when we get the opportunity to get the support that we're looking for. And we need somebody to stand with us for our why, to help us get back in our heart, okay? So be sure that you take the time, give yourself and your potential client the gift of your time to get to that why. And it's about presence. It's about your presence is going to help them land in their why. And they might be on the surface, and you might ask them, can you tell me a little bit more about why that's important? And you're looking for both that kind of practical why and then the indulgent why. There's two levels to their why. And if you can settle into yourself, it's going to help them settle into themselves. Really, can you take a breath into that with me? If you can settle into yourself, you will help them. You create the space for them to settle into themselves.
Beautiful. So we're going through GROW in order so as not to confuse anybody. But like I spoke about in the beginning, you may dive deeper into your potential clients' challenges in reality before you even loop into the G, like Deborah just demonstrated. But let's talk a little bit about how you can go deeper in the R, right? Because when you ask people about their challenges, you're not going to want to gloss over their answer, right? as soon as someone starts telling you about what's been hard, if I can relate, my favorite thing to say is, wow, I can really relate. And I'm a big fan of the one-sentence story during an enrollment conversation. It's a one-sentence story. It's a what, please? It's a one-sentence story that lets my potential client know that I've been where they are. But I don't start telling my story because it's not about me, it's about them. So the one-sentence story sounds like, I've been through a divorce too. I know how painful that can be. Congratulations for being here. Right? I have addiction in my family too. I know how painful that can be. Congratulations for being here. Right? Mm-hmm. One sentence story. Can you feel it? It's highly connective. And then you loop it back around. Tell me more. Because the more you can invite them to share, the closer bond you get to make with this person. Right? That's the whole point. And then once we've established the gap between the G and the R, we get a chance to let them know how we might be able to help them close that gap.
I love this because it's really where you move from being the inquirer, right? G and R is about being curious and asking questions and really listening. And the O is where you move into being the leader in the conversation, where you're the mentor, where you're the one who can present them with the, like, you've heard them. You've been doing some deep listening. You're giving them that reflection. And this simple sentence, based on what you've shared with me, here's what I'd like to recommend for you and where I see your opportunity for transformation is, right? Where you're starting to open the way for them. It's where you get to be the one who's the mentor in the space and you're letting them try on the shoes, so to speak, right? People, how many of you like to go to the store, try on some shoes still, right? So trying on being a mentor, right? You're letting them feel what it would be like. This is your guidance. This is what it takes. This is where you are. This is where you want to go. This is what it takes to get there, okay? Let's talk a little more. Here's the way it can sound. Would you like me to lay out a mini plan for you right now? Because you want it to turn into a conversation. You want them leaning in and starting to say, yes, please. Based on what you've shared, I believe that with XYZ, these course of action, you could be experiencing the result that they just told you they were looking for. Use their words. Within a few months' time, you're giving them the gift of they've just been heard, they're seen, and now you're showing them there is a path. There is a way to solve the problem that they're having. So there's another example so that you can see what this can look like. Based on what you've shared, I'd recommend, or you could say, if you were my client, I'd recommend that you work to eliminate most gluten and sugar from your diet and begin a daily self-care practice with food awareness tools. There's an opportunity here for you to lose that extra 20 pounds by the end of summer and still eat a lot of the foods you love and experience a lot more energy. How would that feel, right? That last question keeps the conversation going. You're getting them into their own, yes, that would feel amazing, right? We want them feeling that yes energy to support.
I love commitment questions. I love asking a commitment question. You know, when you think about taking these steps to improve your relationship with your body, to improve your relationship with your kids, to improve your relationship with your wife or your husband, right? I'm curious, what would you say your level of commitment is on a scale of 1 to 10? Because I know if somebody's not an 8 or above, this might not be my person. And it's more powerful to let them go and let them find their own commitment and come back than it is to extend too far. Because sales and enrollment, it's like a dance. If you lean too far in, there's nowhere for your potential client to lean. So you're constantly dancing between the front of your energy and the back of your energy, knowing when to lean back. If your potential client is an 8 or above, awesome. If they're an 8 or a 9, what would make you a 10? If they're a 7 and below, you can start to let them know that you honor their journey and that you work with people that are committed at an 8, 9, or 10, and that you have other resources they could check out, and it was so great to meet them, right? And it's incredible what happens universally when you start honoring that boundary for yourself, right? Because so many women are so good at convincing, controlling, and cajoling, but that does not work in sales. What works in sales is conviction, boundaries, magnetism, and modeling. That's what works in sales. So you want to be that person who stands for a transformation and who stands for the work that it requires to change.
Don't forget to hit subscribe so I can keep getting you weekly content to grow your business that is relevant, authentic, and effective, so you can get out there and shine your light and be the messenger that you're here to be, because your clients are waiting for you.